Welcome to the RadioU Podcast. Coming up, Duke sucks.
Also, Netflix wants to make Aslan the Great Lioness.
All that and more on the way next. Something odd happened today. You beat me here, Allie.
I did.
You were here. I got here an hour before the show, and you were already here.
Uh-huh.
And why?
Well, so last night I had a little bit of a snafu with my car, I suppose. I was driving home from pickleball and my car dashboard decides it all wants to light up.
Oh, no. That's never a good sign.
Yeah, I'm driving and I'm probably about 5 minutes from home, not very far.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it ended up being around 3 miles from home. And I'm turning onto one of the roads there. I just have like 2 more roads to go, basically. Yeah. And my ABS light comes on, and also my traction light comes on.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, not great.
Yeah.
And so
let's just get home and sort this out.
Exactly. And I noticed my car is also like, it's sounding like it's taking a lot of effort to even just be moving.
Oh no.
Eventually my brake light comes on, and then the power light comes on. And then my car just the throttle completely dies.
Ooh.
And the battery light comes on. So there's some type of electrical failure happening.
Hey, maybe it's just an alternator.
The alternator did sound like it was grinding. You know, like the bearings of the alternator.
Uh-huh.
So it sounds like that might be the issue. But I pulled off onto like this church parking lot that was nearby, thankfully. So I was able to get off this kind of busy road. And stopped there, had to call the insurance tow company, all of that fun stuff. Call my dad to come and pick me up. Well, so we're pretty sure it's the alternator. Car won't, turn on, won't move or whatever, won't drive correctly. So, that's not fun. But what we decided was, obviously I need to be at work the next morning.
You still got to work, yeah.
Yeah, and so my dad, I texted you and I was like, hey, we got a couch at RadioU. Maybe I should just be dropped off at RadioU. So my dad takes me home. I pick up like some stuff for today and last night, and then he dropped me off here. Didn't get here until almost midnight because, unfortunately, if you've ever had to get a tow truck service before, it just takes a long time for them to get there. So it took them almost an hour and a half, I think, to get there. And then they obviously had to take the time to get the car on the truck and then get the truck to the apartment and then drop the car off. So it was a long night.
Yeah, that sounds like it. I like that you had texted me when it first happened, which already was on a normal night. I very well may have been asleep by the time you had texted me.
Yeah, it was like, what, 9:30?
Yeah, something like that. So I was getting close. But then, like, I was like, yeah, you can sleep at the station as if it's my call. I have no control, but I know it's fine.
Yeah.
But then you texted me a few more times. And I woke up to some texts that like, I'm still waiting on the tow truck. And I'm like, was I supposed to stay up in solidarity or something?
No, I just was letting you know because I didn't want you to worry.
Yeah, no, I wasn't worried. I thought you'd get it sorted out. But I can, for anybody out there, just imagine how rested you would probably feel after staying the night at your workplace.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's I've never had to sleep here overnight.
I will admit I was so tired that I just like fell asleep immediately. I didn't have any issue falling asleep. And I woke up probably a couple minutes before you came in because like I was looking at my phone when I heard the door open and I was just like, oh, there's Hudson. But yeah, I didn't sleep horribly, but it's just not enough time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because you got here so late. I will say I've never stayed here at RadioU, but I did have a job where I used to have to sleep over every weekend.
Oh, really?
And if it's a routine, that's bad. That's a bad thing.
Yes.
Because if you have to be in the studio at 6, then you sleep until 5:59.
Yeah.
The show at 6, which doesn't make for a great show, even if you do get a great night of sleep.
Yeah, no.
But I can't imagine staying the night at work. You get as much rest as you really would in your own bed.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate.
Well, I hope you get your car fixed.
I hope so too.
Cheaply.
Yes.
Affordably, I should say. Over the weekend, the Final Four took place.
Yep.
I don't. If you didn't get to see either of the games, they were both exciting. Like they really delivered with Florida defeating Auburn and then Houston with a crazy comeback to take down Duke and get to the championship, which is coming up tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Houston versus Florida starting at 8:50 Eastern. Really looking forward to staying up late to watch that. I can't wait for the last 6 minutes, which will take 18 hours.
Seriously.
They're going to review everything, I'm sure.
That's the most annoying part of a basketball game, especially a close one.
The reviews have gotten out of control. Some people think the refs themselves have gotten out of control. Allie, did you get to see either of the games?
I did, and I'm not happy. I had Auburn in my Radio U bracket as the winner, so I wasn't happy about Florida winning. Duke losing to Houston, that was an insane game for sure. But yeah, the way that Duke lost, I feel like a lot of people have honestly understandable grievances with the refs.
You think the refs were bad in the Houston?
No,
game?
but I do think the call that was made against Cooper Flagg to give Houston the 1-1 was a little questionable.
Yeah, I mean, it was not the most clear-cut call of all time.
And it sucks that that's what is the game clencher winner for Houston.
Yeah.
They were down at that point, so it gives them an opportunity to get up, and then they were able to hold on to that till the very end. But that's it. You hate it when a game decision comes down to a ref call like that, you know? It feels like it's out of control for the play. Like it's taken out of the hands of the players to decide at that point.
Yeah, I will say I have to really work to remind myself this when sports don't go the way I want.
Yeah.
And I want to get mad at the refs. But like in this case, my perspective is it may not have been the best call in the world, or at least the most obvious, but that's not the only reason Duke lost, because they urinated down their leg for the last 6 minutes of the game, which and Houston, you got to give Houston credit too. Like really, as much as Duke blew it, Houston, for many other teams, like they're phoning it in at that point. Yeah, it's the Final Four, but like there was if you look at the win probability and everything, which always feels like a scam, like Houston was done. They were done. They were cooked, and they did not give up, especially when there was that play. Duke was inbounding it, and the Houston player, I forget who it was, hits the ball while it's still in his hands. You can't do that.
No.
And that was a critical part of the game. It's a technical foul, and it looks like at that point, like honestly, like end of the comeback mistake right there.
Yeah.
And they still kept battling.
Yep.
And so you have to give a lot of credit to Houston, and I can't wait to see them tonight. I'm definitely rooting for them against Florida.
I know you are, because you picked them,
I did pick them.
You're sitting pretty over there.
My bracket of truth. This isn't even like one of the random brackets I filled out. This is the first one that I was like, this is my truth bracket.
Look at you.
And I put it in the Radio U. It's my Radio U in our group. And it's 95% on ESPN right now. I'm second place in our entire radio.
So did you pick Houston versus Florida?
Yes, I did.
No way.
I did. I had 3 out of the 4 Final Four. Imagine if I didn't hate Duke so much and didn't pick them to lose in the second round, what I would be right now. I could be winning some kind of money.
Do they even give people money if they don't have a perfect bracket?
Probably not.
I was going to say, I think it's only if you get a perfect bracket.
There is a cash prize for winning the Radio U group, right?
No.
I'm pretty sure we agreed to that. I
don't remember agreeing to that.
Sending out an email saying to everybody for the record that everybody, we're all gonna pay whoever wins. And now look at it. Now look who it probably will be. I'm in second place, and then if Houston, there's one listener ahead of me. If Houston wins, they have Florida, so I win.
And if Florida wins, they win.
They do win. And I get surpassed by a lot of people because a lot of people pick Florida.
Gotcha.
Well, go Houston tonight. Remember a few weeks ago, we were talking about the best restaurant chain in the United States?
Yeah, and how Southern was it Southern Living?
I think it was Southern Living.
That said it was like What did they say it was?
Nothing Bundt Cakes.
Right, Nothing Bundt Cakes. And we got in a huge argument
That
about.
was obviously controversial.
Yeah.
Not only is Nothing Bundt Cakes the top restaurant in the country, but
It's a bakery, by the way.
is it even a restaurant?
Yeah.
Does it even qualify? So I have a new list here of the top restaurant chains in the United States. And this is much more accurate. This is a much less controversial.
So these are actual restaurants, not
first
bakeries.
Of all, they're definitely restaurants. These are specifically, though, they've ranked the top 500 here. Casual dining restaurants in the United States, casual chains.
So fast food out or in?
Yeah,
Okay.
these are sit-down places.
Sit down. Okay.
I'm not going to make everybody guess because we've done that.
Yeah.
Let's just get down to the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
The number one, it's the new number one according to these rankings. They change every year, but for the last several years, they haven't changed. It's been Olive Garden at number one.
Oh, okay.
But Olive Garden has just been surpassed
Whoa.
by Texas Roadhouse.
Oh,
Yeah.
Indiana Roadhouse coming in.
Indiana Roadhouse, as we like to call them. Texas Roadhouse has seen a massive, so this is by like sales, by how much money
I was
these
going to
places
say,
made.
how is this determined? Is it determined by sales? Because I feel like that's the only way you really can determine it.
So this is how much money they made in 2024, and Texas Roadhouse was number one. So you think about this, I think it was the past 6 years that Olive Garden, 6 or 7 years, Olive Garden had been number one, winning they just made more money than every other sit-down restaurant chain.
It's a Gen X and Boomer date night, right?
I guess so, yeah. But Texas Roadhouse had a almost 15% sales increase in 2024.
14%?
Yeah, that's
actually
massive.
Impressive for a restaurant.
So if all of your other stocks are going bad today, maybe pick up some Texas Roadhouse stock.
Yeah, pick it up until people find out it's from Clarksville, Indiana.
That might lose a little less of its market cap today. Whatever that means. Olive Garden did still get number two, but they basically stayed the same as far as sales in 2024. No growth for Olive Garden.
But they didn't lose any ground.
They didn't lose any ground.
So they're still popular.
Cannot be said for Applebee's, which is now down at number 4.
Okay.
I skipped number 3, which also had an even bigger increase than Texas Roadhouse, and that's Chili's.
Chili's on the rise.
Had a 15% sales increase, and they're number 3 in the chain restaurants that made the most money in 2024.
Interesting. You know what? I kind of want to know over the past few decades how this money, to see the decline and what this looks like.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about how a lot of these sit-down chain restaurants are struggling, many of them shutting down, like TGI Fridays and all sorts of. Red Robin looks like it's going to go out of business. So it's sad to see that, but I do wonder kind of how truly successful these brands are. Even though they're, listing them as the ones that made the most money, how much money did they actually make?
It is interesting here that the one you just mentioned, Red Robin, also Red Lobster, both cracked the top 10. They're 9 and 10, even though both of those are well on the out. Like Red Robin is basically probably going to close.
And that's what I'm wondering.
And Red Lobster filed for bankruptcy, I believe.
It's like you're the king of the hill, but is it more like king of the mound?
Yeah. Well, you're going to... When you just have that sheer amount of locations like these places do, you're going to have a high volume of money.
Sure.
But per location, is it really working out
and
for you?
I'm assuming these are franchised, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So it's like that money system is a little different than, a straight up business. Like the franchisee, I don't entirely know how that all works, but I know that adds some kinks in the armor.
I know that I'm getting hungry for Texas Roadhouse right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever stop calling it Indiana Roadhouse, though.
Prices are out of control on a lot of items in our lives right now, particularly eggs. This has been a long-standing issue, and it's a particularly bad time for eggs to be skyrocketing in price because Easter's coming up.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to color if we can't afford eggs to color?
Maybe rocks. I don't know. I feel like painting rocks is always a good option.
I mean, I guess there's no real reason that we have to color eggs in the first place, right?
Yeah, I mean, I remember I never really grew up doing that.
I definitely colored eggs a time or two when I was a child.
Yeah.
And I know this is when I was very young that my mom tried to have us color eggs, me and my brother, in an apartment. Like this is before they had their own house. And somehow that went very awry thanks to me getting egg dye everywhere.
Oh, no.
And so I don't know if they got that deposit back on that apartment.
No.
And I think that was the last time we ever colored eggs.
Yeah.
I was like 4 years old.
Yeah. I don't ever remember having any dye snafus, but I just remember doing it maybe once or twice. And other than that, not really getting into it too much. And it might have been because, my mom didn't want us to waste eggs or I don't know. But yeah, I just, I never really got into this habit or practice. We did Easter egg hunts and had Easter baskets on Easter morning and all of that. So it's not like we didn't practice some of those traditions, but for whatever reason, coloring eggs was not a big thing for us. So I feel like if you want to still do this, you can. But obviously, eggs are super expensive, so maybe finding an alternative would be the best route this year.
Yeah. Well, when I think about the Easter traditions, the coloring eggs is one that I'd be probably more fine with leaving behind.
Yeah.
I feel like most kids would be too,
Really? I think there's a lot of kids that are really artistic that enjoy stuff like that.
I feel like there's other outlets
Sure.
they can find. And so then what they really want is Reese's eggs. So that's probably makes them happier. But also, like I said, there's no rule that says you have to color eggs. Like you could color something else, right?
Yes. I would think so.
So what should we color instead?
I already gave you mine.
What did you
Rocks.
say? Rocks. And you can do that. That's free.
Yeah, you could do that. You go outside, pick some rocks.
Touch grass.
And
get some rocks.
Get some rocks and paint them. Because, that's an all-year activity.
You can do that anytime, yeah.
Anytime.
Keep it as your pet if you want.
Yeah, this is my pet rock.
Want to go back in time.
Yeah.
How do you think, though, like, let's say you waltzed into school, you're like in third grade, and you waltzed in and you're like, I colored rocks over the weekend. Like,
I feel like that's a pretty common thing.
You think the other kids would be like, nice?
Yeah.
I think that we can do better, though.
Okay. What are your options? I gave you my solution. What is yours?
I'm looking online. It says potatoes. Potatoes could be, that's just like a bigger version of an egg.
Yeah.
So,
a lot
but darker.
cheaper.
Darker, though.
Yeah.
You'd have to work harder on that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how that would look because I feel like the potato skin would really soak in the dye and maybe it'd take a lot of layers to really make it colorful.
Yeah, maybe not. How about marshmallows?
That I think would actually work really well because
those are so small though.
You can get bigger ones, but I do feel like because of the white, that would look pretty good.
That could be festive.
Yeah.
It's definitely better than eating them. What about onions here? It says onions.
Ugh. No, nothing with onions.
Onions have that skin. I feel like the paint would just,
it would just like wipe off.
The dye. Yeah, I feel like it would just slick away.
We all know that paint's like water-based or whatever, or at least it should be if you're using it with children.
Well, that's the mistake my mom made is not using water.
Do you use like real paint?
I guess so. I don't know. I don't know anything about what the dye is. But whatever she used definitely stained some carpets.
Aww.
Whatever I used definitely stained some carpets. Whatever she gave me, 4-year-old me. Gable Price and friends. I hope we've solved some problems here.
Yeah, sure.
It's a big hockey news over the weekend. A huge moment in hockey. Alexander Ovechkin has broken the NHL's all-time career goals record. He scored his 895th goal yesterday against the New York Islanders to surpass Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, that was crazy to see. I loved the photo that they released of Wayne Gretzky with Alex, and they were holding up a puck or whatever. But yeah, that was, it's anytime you could say you beat a Gretzky record in hockey, like I feel like that's you've won in life.
Yeah, when I was growing up, it was kind of just agreed upon that Wayne Gretzky would always hold that record.
Yeah.
Like it was so unbelievable. So many goals. Because you think about that, that's almost 900 goals, right?
Right.
Split that up.
Ovechkin's probably going to hit 900.
Yeah, I'm sure he will because I don't think he's retiring after this season.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's clearly still good enough to continue playing. So like 900 goals, you split that up by over 20 years or so. Like if you have a really good long career, which he has, still 20 years, that's over 40 goals a year.
Right.
Which, to put in perspective, like for baseball, I mean, that's like hitting 40 home runs in baseball.
Yeah.
Every year for 20 years. It's not done like that. If you can hit 40 home runs or 50 once in your career, that's impressive.
Right.
To do that over and over and over and over again to the point where now he's approaching 900, but he's broken the record. It's unfathomable.
It's crazy. And yeah, he's definitely going to hit that 900 mark. He's only got 5 more to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's insane. And that's going to be a big moment in and of itself, and probably a record that we'll still likely feel will never be broken.
Yeah.
But maybe eventually it will. Who knows? But yeah, it's an awesome moment for hockey. And I feel like, Otso, this just shows you how great a guy Wayne Gretzky is.
Yeah.
Like, he just is so humble and just so awesome. Like, I saw an interview with him afterwards, and he's just like the most humble human ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, maybe he wasn't like that back in his career, or whatever. Maybe that perspective has happened in his life or whatever. But I feel like he always kind of was that type of guy.
Yeah.
And so it just shows you, it's like how good of a guy he is.
Yeah. I mean, think about if in the NBA doesn't have records like this, like football and
there's a scoring
basketball.
record. That's a big one.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like as big as in baseball, the home run record, and in hockey, the goals record.
Yeah.
Are like just totally different because they're really easy to count. Like basketball points is so.
Yeah,
like,
it's very different.
Yeah, it just doesn't pop into your mind the same way. And so it's just not as clear. But if Michael Jordan had some record, which he doesn't, he's not the GOAT, but if he was the record holder and LeBron took a record from him, like the record, do you think Michael Jordan would be there like cheering on LeBron? Like, I don't think that Michael Jordan would do that.
I don't think so. They've been pitted against each other way too much.
And Michael's so competitive.
Yeah, he's very competitive.
Where Wayne Gretzky, obviously you have to be competitive to reach the heights that he did.
One of the best competitors.
At the same time, like, it's just not his be-all, end-all of life. And so he just has a different personality, and I love it. And I don't want this to turn
I also
into...
just think he's a champion for the sport of hockey.
Yeah.
And this is a big moment for hockey.
This is huge for hockey.
Yeah.
And we have to take a second, too. We've talked about Alexander Ovechkin, like, his whole career. Like, the unfathomable accomplishment this is. And you think he's in like 3rd in the NHL in scoring this year.
Right.
He's 39 years old.
Kind of wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could, he'd have to play a couple more years to do this. I don't know if he will, but he could hit 1,000 goals.
Oh man, that would be insane if he goes that far.
Like, you give him 3 more years, I think that's pretty realistic.
Yeah, for sure. If he continues at the pace that he's going.
So unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Congrats,
it was really cool
Alex.
to watch. Yeah, on a Sunday. So 8772 Radio U. Happy Monday. It's time for our Monday tradition, the box office breakdown, letting you know what made money and what didn't in theaters over the weekend. I'll tell you what definitely made money. The number 1 movie in America, a Minecraft movie.
All right, but how much money?
A lot of money.
Oh, really?
The Minecraft movie, was the number 1 movie this weekend. It made $157 million.
What?
In North America alone. It also, worldwide, made over $300 million total.
So it's already like past pretty much 500 million.
No.
Or close?
Like the 300 million includes what it's made here in the United States.
Oh, okay. I was geez, what in the world? That is like, it's definitely going to make it to $1 billion.
But this is crazy though. To put that in perspective, that is the biggest opening weekend for any video game movie.
Yeah.
And that including Super Mario Brothers. It beat Super Mario Brothers, and everybody went and saw Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, but I feel like Super Mario Brothers was over time because, it made a lot of money. It made it to the $1 billion club.
And it stuck around.
It stuck around because of word of mouth. It may not have been as popular out the gate, though. Mm-hmm. But I'm surprised with this Minecraft movie, because I feel like I heard a lot of mixed stuff about it.
Know.
People were like, I don't even want to go see it because it looks kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But maybe everyone took their kids to see it.
That was normal adults like you and me. But I think people with kids really ate it up.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, Allie, you know what I saw this weekend?
What?
a Minecraft movie.
You went and saw it.
Yeah, I definitely got talked into it. I definitely got talked into it, and let me tell you, it is not good.
Oh, really?
It is a dumb movie.
Well, it may not have a good run then, like Mario, because Super Mario Brothers, I feel like, had the word of mouth.
I think that people will continue going to see it.
I mean, with an opening weekend like that, it's hard to fail.
Yeah, with it had a great opening weekend. If you look ahead to the calendar for like the rest of this month of other movies that are coming out, there's not a lot to get excited about, period, but particularly not a lot of like
big
family movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this thing is just going to be a bowling ball that steamrolls. I'm mixing metaphors here, just throughout the box office for the next couple weeks.
Hollywood has to be so happy right now because
I know
their box office was looking bleak.
And they're like, we don't even have to make a good movie. Just put Jack Black and Jason Momoa in a movie about a video game, and it'll make money.
Yeah. Is this, hey, Jumanji made a lot of money, and this is like similar to that Jumanji remake formula too with the video game thing. Is this a Warner Brothers film?
I believe that it is.
Okay. Warner Brothers has been churning out the big box office like films.
They really
the big ones, you know?
They've been nailing that for some reason.
Yeah, because Super Mario's is theirs too. Super Mario Brothers.
I think that was Universal, wasn't it?
No, I'm pretty sure it's Warner Brothers.
Nevertheless, they are making a lot of money. I did go see it, and
okay, yeah. What'd you think?
I guess it wasn't as bad as I was expecting, because I was expecting it to be like one of the worst movies I've ever seen based off of the trailer.
Okay.
It has a few moments that are funny, but it's not a good movie. Like, it's dumb. But people are eating it up. If you go on like TikTok and stuff, if you go to certain theaters, and I didn't have this experience, but if you get in the wrong theater, there'll be people, because of the highlights on TikTok, like kids that are literally like shouting out the lines as they are like reciting the lines.
How do they know the lines already?
Because of TikTok.
Oh,
yeah, like the highlights and stuff from the movie. I know, it's the worst.
Also, Super Mario Brothers is Universal, by the way.
Okay.
Just checked that.
Thank you. Let's finish out. The number 2 movie was A Working Man. Still came in at number 2. That's the Jason Statham movie that made another $7 million.
All right.
And number 3, beating out Snow White by a short margin, was the next 2 episodes of The Chosen Last Supper.
All right, so part 3 and 4?
Well, it has it here as part 2.
Okay, but the episodes 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that made over $6 million. We've already spent a little bit of time on this, and I already said that I watched a Minecraft movie. But let's come back with what else we've watched over the weekend.
Yeah.
Or recently. You might have a lot of things because we did the fundraiser stuff. So, and let us know what you've seen at 8772 Radio U. If you saw the Minecraft movie, give us your review. Allie, we didn't get a chance though. What have you been watching?
So I finished over the weekend. I finished House of David.
Mm-hmm.
The last episode, which was a part of a 2-part episode for the finale, came out on Thursday. So I watched that Friday night, I believe. Finished that. It sets it up really well for a second season, but also puts a bow on everything. So I think they were expecting maybe there wasn't going to be a second season. But they do really set it up, and it's already confirmed a second season will come out for House of David. So I'm excited about that. And you know when you're sick, you're always looking for something to watch.
Yeah, of course.
Just throw on.
Yeah.
I ended up stumbling across Fallout on Amazon Prime.
Oh, yeah.
I'm honestly shocked I never watched it when it first came out. It's been out for about a year since last April. And it was really good. I loved it. I remember playing Fallout 76 and Fallout New Vegas. So I really liked the games. And I don't know why I never had stumbled across the show before, but I really enjoyed it. I whipped through the 8 episodes.
Is that on Prime Video?
Yeah, it's on Prime
Video. I wound up. Everybody loved that when it first came out.
It has like 17 Emmy nominations or something.
Yeah.
It was crazy how many nominations they got.
And so I watched like the first 2 episodes maybe.
Okay.
And never came back to it. And it wasn't because I didn't like it. It's just, sometimes shows just get lost in the shuffle.
Sure.
You don't make it a priority, and I didn't. But I love the style of it.
Oh yeah, stylistically it's a lot of fun. I mean, and that's why I like the Fallout games is they have that fun style where it's like the vaults are all clean and fresh and nice, and it's got that mod-esque, styling to it because it's like the 1960s.
Yep, and the soundtrack, the music is so good.
The music is amazing, and they follow that up in the show. The soundtrack, if you're famous with the Inklings and all of those bands that are used, or those, those groups. It's really those groups of singers that are used in the Fallout games. It's used in the show as well, but very well done, and definitely looking forward to the second season of that.
Now, I did not only watch a Minecraft movie recently.
Okay.
I promised that I would have a review of Love on the Spectrum new season.
Did you finish it?
Yeah. It ends very abruptly. I didn't know. I think it's only 6 episodes.
Oh, okay.
So me and Mrs. Hudson were dialed in for we're going to be plowing through this thing. And then we get to episode 6 and it just ends.
And there's nothing coming up? Like no more episodes?
Not that I know of.
That's so sad.
But it is, so Love on the Spectrum, if you didn't know, it's a dating show where like they're helping autistic people get set up on dates and stuff. And it actually feels, like we discussed this because every time it's kind of like, is this exploitative? And it's actually like, no, this is definitely less exploitative than any other reality show. Good point. And everybody on the show too seems to like love being on it. Like they love the stardom that comes with it too. So I don't know. It's so, listen, this is not a show that on my own I would have ever thought to watch it by myself. But once my wife showed it to me and she's like, we have to watch this. And it is one of my favorite shows because it's very sweet and wholesome, but it is hilarious.
Yeah. I've seen clips and it looks so funny.
Yeah. It's very funny, but also like, I feel like it's helping me learn and like understand people, like, autistic people and what they're dealing with. So, it is very, I highly recommend it.
Okay.
Even if you don't like dating shows. Love on the Spectrum.
We all know I love dating shows.
Yeah. So check that out. Let us know what you've seen lately. 8772 Radio U. We'd love to hear about it. Allie, I had a realization recently.
Okay.
And that is, I don't know if everybody's like this. I feel like other people pick one or the other. But for me, for the majority of my life, I bounce back and forth between these two feelings. Either one is feeling like the world is beating you down, like life is unfair.
You against the world.
Yeah. Like there's so many people trying to, chase you down. You got to have that like gazelle mentality, I think some people say, where
you're
the
a little
leopard,
scrappy.
Yeah, because there's always somebody after you. Or if I'm not feeling that, I feel like guilty because of the choices that I've made that have led me to where I am in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even if it's so rare to have the moments of like happiness of feeling like life is good. Like life has been good to me.
Right.
Because even if you get there to me, then I'm like, but also like you're screwing it up or something. You know what I mean? And I feel like if you ask most people, most of the time they would feel one of those two ways.
Yeah.
It's very rare. Again, these are the best moments, but the moments where you're like, life's been good to me and I feel good about life right now.
Right. Yeah, no, I feel like that's absolutely true. Sometimes you bounce back between those two feelings of it's like it's the world's fault or it's mine, And
exactly.
For
that's
whatever,
a perfect way to put it.
For whatever it's what's going wrong in your life or whatever. But sometimes I feel like those can be true. Mm-hmm. It can be a true statement. And then also sometimes that can be us lying to ourselves. Mm-hmm. I often feel like the guilty feeling for sure. Sometimes we're most critical of ourselves.
Yeah.
Not sometimes, really all the time. We're most critical of ourselves. And so that guilt really can be a liar and something that brings us down when it shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think for some people, in a way, possibly like how you're raised or whatever, like the guilt kind of gets beaten into you.
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of people need to overcome. And probably I'm on that list as well.
Midwestern culture, man, it'll do it to you.
Yeah. You put on the smiley face, but inside, you hate, you're just angry at, angry at yourself or whatever. But here's what I want to let you know, particularly with the guilty feeling. But I think, whether you're feeling like that or you're feeling like you're up against the world and the world is holding you down, that God is there with you. Jesus isn't distant. I feel like sometimes we get in the mindset of like, God's like a parole officer or something you have to check in with every once in a while. But Jesus is there with you in your life.
Yeah.
And so he knows how you're feeling. And one of the most powerful ways you can actually overcome that guilt that so many of us sit with so often is by spending time with God and knowing that he's there and knowing that he doesn't want you to feel guilty.
Right.
Like he is not the one holding this stuff over your head. Like, remember when you made that dumb choice?
Right.
Remember when you did that thing? Jesus isn't doing that.
No.
Jesus loves you and does not want to hold your bad decisions over your head and remind you of them.
Right. The Bible says love keeps no record of wrongs. And God is love. God's the epitome of that true love, that perfect love, which casts out fear. And a part of guilt is fear. You're fearful of the mistakes you've made. You're fearful of how you've hurt someone else, or maybe the mistakes that you think you'll make in the future. God's love is free of that. It's free of fear, and it frees you in the process.
Yeah. And God is there. He's ready to love you right now. He is loving you right now.
Yes.
And so then it's on us to take some moments and experience that.
Yeah.
Let God love you, and that can overcome that guilt. It can also, when you feel like you're going up against the world all on your own, you're not on your own.
Yeah.
Because God is there to do it with you. If you want to know more, the best thing to do again right now is just to say, hey, Jesus, I want to know more about you. Like, tell me right here that you're with me. And he will. You can also go to radiou.com/free gift. Fired or hired on Radio U. If you've ever got a workplace situation you want us to help sort out, email mornings@radiou.com. Saw this one come through, thought it was interesting. A coworker that just always seems to have something, with air quotes. So here's the situation. We have a relatively new employee at our small office. The team is only 11 people total. So far, they've been great. A fast learner who's receptive to feedback, generally enjoyable to be around. But that's only when they're actually around.
Oh, no.
That said, in the last 4 months since they started, they always seem to have something going on. Started off normal, they'd get sick and have to miss a day in their first week. Totally fair. People get sick. But literally every week since then, there's always been some other reason they've either been late, absent, or had to leave early.
Every week?
Every week. One time, it was because their cat threw up. Most of the time, it's because they're not feeling well. One time, they had to go to urgent care for one issue. That turned out to be another. The list goes on. Listen, life happens, and that's understandable. No one at our office has an issue with people taking time off when they're actually sick or in general. We also have very generous PTO.
Good. Great.
But these weekly issues are becoming frustrating as we also have a high volume of work and work in a deadline-driven field. Every person is important, and when the constant absences, late arrivals, and early leaving, work tends to pile up on everybody else's plate.
Yep.
As these are last-minute issues that we have no way of preparing for. Has anyone else dealt with a coworker who has something like this going on? How would you approach this issue without coming across as insensitive?
Yeah, this is tough.
We definitely need some good advice here.
I actually have some practical experiences with this same situation.
All right. Allie's got this covered, but we still want to hear from you too. 8772 Radio U. A coworker for 4 months straight has had some excuse where they've had to miss time for every single week, which is
that's crazy.
8772 Radio U. How would you handle this situation? Allie, Max says, fire a person who never shows up on time and always calls off sick.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that idea. But this person is using their paid time. Like, they're allowed to do that, right?
Right. Technically, it's their time.
And then you just have everything pile up on all the other employees even more.
Yeah.
Until you hire a new person.
Yeah.
Which may or may not be a better person.
May not be a better solution, but yeah, I can't lie. It is a first gut reaction is like full fire.
Yeah.
You know?
Lisa's, I feel like there's steps you can take before you just get straight to fire.
Sure. But no one likes to see somebody taking advantage of a policy.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Lisa says we had something like that in the office I work in, but the only people who liked the employee who was always gone were the bosses. There's literally nothing you can do in this situation unless you're a manager, boss, owner. It's so frustrating. Which I believe this person writing in is not the
It sounds like they're just a coworker.
Yeah, and they're just like, they're getting frustrated because they always have extra work because this person's cat threw up.
I would imagine that would be extremely annoying to deal with every single week. And I have had a similar situation happen in a previous work environment where there was somebody that was super unreliable. And every week there was something, there was car issue, there was I'm sick, I had to pull over and, and all sorts of different stuff. And so again, it's like you feel for this person because you want to believe that these are true things that they're suffering through. And it's not good to hear that someone's suffering through something.
Yeah.
But also it's really annoying because they are very unreliable. And, you know, when you hire somebody, you're expecting and hoping that they will be reliable. And so I feel like maybe what this company needs to do if this coworker is really concerned and getting frustrated is just go talk to your manager, talk to your supervisor and say, hey, have you sat this person down, you know, to figure out like what's going on? This is a trend that we're seeing. We don't like this trend. Yeah, you're using, you know, PTO right now, but are you going to run out of that eventually? Because if this continues every single week, you would imagine you would eventually run out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would think either see if you can talk to them. If that doesn't work, maybe change your structure of PTO. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's just, you would hate to make the other people suffer that aren't abusing PTO, you know, just because there's one person that is, but I don't know what the solution is.
What if the solution is, this is a philosophy I go by sometimes. What if everybody did this thing?
Yes.
Right? Like everybody can't steal the little bottle of Tabasco from Chipotle, even though some people do that.
Yeah.
It's wrong to do because if everybody did it, it's out. It's for you to take. No, it's not. The whole can is not for you to take. And so you can't, like everybody couldn't, because if everybody did it, then they'd stop having them out.
Yeah. That's a great way to judge it.
So if everybody starts taking their PTO the way this person does, it's not going to work anymore. But that may not punish this person as much as it will you and the whole company because they'll change the PTO policy. I like what Glenn says. He says if one person's absence is enough to screw everything over, the problem is not the employee as much as it is the staffing. That's a management resource planning issue.
Maybe, but this isn't one person missing every once in a while. This is one person missing every week. You have to think about how that work would pile up. Maybe the first couple weeks it wasn't as bad. They'd be like, okay, just push their stuff, you know, down the line a little bit. But you can only push stuff down the line so far before it just begins to pile up. And it's like that amount of stuff can't be done by one person anymore.
I feel like ultimately, though, what we're finding is if you're not this person's boss, you have really very limited options, unfortunately.
Yeah, right.
I wish we could
Maybe you could tell your boss, I'm not going to do their work anymore.
And then who sounds difficult?
Well, I mean, I don't
know if saying to a boss, I'm not going to work is a good strategy.
But I mean, I would be like, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. If you're not going to find a solution for this unreliable person, I'm going to move on.
I think your best option, if you're really frustrated with this, find another place.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Start looking, yeah. This could be a big topic around the office today.
Okay.
Here's how I want you to picture it. Imagine there was a line from the point of South Africa, the southernmost point of Africa, and that line connected over to Australia. And then you took those two lines and made a triangle going down to Antarctica.
Yep.
In the very center of that triangle, you would find the Heard and McDonald Islands.
I thought you were about to say the Bermuda Triangle.
No, that's a different triangle altogether. This is the Africa, Antarctica, Australia triangle. And in the center of that triangle is the Heard and McDonald Islands.
Okay.
On the Heard and McDonald Islands, why are we talking about them? Well, there's no people, but there is penguins.
All right.
And in the midst of all of the tariffs that have just been imposed by the Trump administration, they imposed tariffs on the Heard and McDonald Islands.
Okay.
I don't know how that will affect things because there's no people there. So I don't know that we'll make a lot of money off of that.
So this was just like some type of honest mistake or something they did. I'm assuming they did not want to actually do that.
Yeah.
This happened.
As I
clerical error.
Understand there's just like some kind of calculation they did where with all the countries that we trade with and whatever, these are the ones where we're losing money based off of this or blah, blah, blah. And so somehow the Heard and McDonald Islands got in there, even though yet again, I don't think we're trading with them.
We're not trading with them.
Because there's only penguins there.
Unless we're doing penguin trading.
Penguin trading. I don't know if that's even legal.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I feel like the penguins Like, how do you feel like the Penguins are feeling hearing this news?
Oh, they got to be devastated.
They must be, right?
Have you heard about the herd penguins?
And the McDonald's. McDonald's.
McDonald's, yeah. What the heck is going on here?
At least now you're informed.
Yeah.
That you can talk to your coworkers today, and at least you know where the herd and McDonald Islands are.
Yeah, now you know they're in the middle of the triangle.
Contribute that.
Not the Bermuda Triangle.
Different triangle.
Because we all know there's nothing in the middle of that one. Mm-hmm. Everything disappears in the middle of that one.
In fact, this could be a fun thing with your coworkers where like they start talking, did you hear about the tariffs on the Penguins? And you could be like, oh, really? You think there's a big deal? Where even is the herd at McDonald Island?
Yeah.
And I bet you they won't know.
Oh, good.
But
good idea.
You will. You can seem holier than thou.
Great way to make all your coworkers love you.
Now that is some useless knowledge. Now, I don't know if you saw the big news. People can let us know their thoughts. 8772 Radio U about the Chronicles of Narnia movies that are going to be made for Netflix. Movies, plural, I guess. They're working on multiple. But Allie, you're a homeschooler. I imagine you have thoughts on this. That Meryl Streep is reportedly being cast as Aslan in the Chronicles of Narnia movies that are being worked on for Netflix. How do we feel about this?
Not well. Not great. And here's the thing. Okay. First of all, yes, I did grow up reading the Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. Love those books. I've read them multiple times. And I also have seen some of the adaptations that Disney did. Way back when now. It's like 20 years ago now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But yeah, I love C.S. Lewis and I love the Narnia novels. And also, I grew up in Africa. Mm-hmm. I know what a lion looks like.
Yeah.
And what a lioness looks like. Not sure if you realize this. They don't look the same. You know, we have lions with manes.
Yep.
Those are males. Mm-hmm. And we have lionesses, no mane.
Yep.
Aslan
everyone knows this.
Aslan has a pretty big mane. And in the story, the mane is actually chopped off as a part of his shame. Put on by, the witch.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with that now? Are they going to make him the great lioness?
Then no mane.
Yeah.
We can't have that.
Well, no, he's a totally different thing at that point.
If he's a lady.
Yeah. So I don't know how Greta Gerwig is getting around this, if this actually is true. Now, this is a report that we don't know if this is actually true or not. But I wouldn't put it past Hollywood to do something like this. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds like a Hollywood move. So, not a fan of this. Obviously, for the implications, we all know, if you're familiar with the story, Aslan is a representation of Jesus Christ. And it's quite obvious when you read it that it is, But yeah, so I'm not a fan. I can't lie.
On its face, I mean, Meryl Streep, an amazing actress.
Yes.
She would do a great job in any role. I could imagine her being a very good lioness leader. But based off of what you've outlined, I agree that this is problematic.
Yeah.
Separated, if it wasn't that him having a mane was so important to the story, I could get around it. I'd be fine with it because it's not actually God. It's just a lion from a book.
Right.
But Meryl Streep trying to play either a boy lion or changing the entire story of Chronicles of Narnia, that is a problem to me.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of them if they want to make it the Great Lioness. It's like, it's not the same. I feel like that's what they'll do, though, the iconic look with the mane. That's iconic.
Even though, isn't it true? You grew up in Africa, so you know this too. The female lions, the lionesses, are the ones that do all the work.
They're
the males
ones
just lay
that
around.
Hunt. They're the ones that hunt. The male lions will come in to help with the kill, to help with the final blow. They'll be like, all right, get them cornered or whatever, and I'll come in and finish it off. But most of the time, the lionesses are the ones that hunt. So yeah, they're absolutely ferocious and very fierce, and they team up well together and all of that. But yeah, it's just not the same thing. And also Liam Neeson. Come on. You can't get Liam Neeson back.
You can't beat Liam Neeson, but even though it is Meryl Streep, she's great. But
I just can't hear Aslan is not Liam Neeson, though.
We're about to. One way or another. I do think that they are just going to, the main plot, as in like the lion's main. That's a plot point that's not necessarily integral to the story.
There's so many parts of the story that they use the main. Like Lucy uses it to comfort her when she can't see Aslan anymore.
They'll get around it.
Ugh, no.
She's going to be a girl. Well, how about a little reminder for all the guys out there that think they're not that far away from being a professional athlete? I don't mean like they could pick it up as a career. But like there's a lot of guys out there. You see like MMA fighters or you see somebody playing baseball and you're like, they're not in that much better shape than me, you know?
You're like, I'm not that far from being able to do that.
Yeah, like I work out.
Pump a home run 450.
Yeah, I could definitely hit a home run. I could bat 200 if I play or whatever. Like, but there's such a gap.
Yeah.
There's such a gap from even a very in shape individual and a professional athlete.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's a reason why us women find those guys attractive. Like, we know it's not easy to do that stuff.
So let's go to former UFC champion Henry Cejudo over the weekend. He helped put a stop to a hit and run situation.
Okay.
Which the whole situation where this came to be is ridiculous anyways. This is on Friday night. Henry Cejudo's neighbor had somebody drive their car into their house.
Whoa. That had to be some drug driving, right?
Yeah, I would think so. So a person crashed their car into Henry Cejudo's neighbor's house. They get out of the car and attempt to leave the scene.
Oh my goodness.
Henry Cejudo, noticing all of this, in his gold silk pajamas, chases down the guy, and it sounds like some other people from the neighborhood helped out too, and wound up body slamming him. This is a quote from him. He says, pretty much all my neighbors came in to fight the situation. I ended up lifting him, dropping him, slapped him around a little bit, and just pretty much controlled him. You thought you could get away from Olympic wrestling gold medalist and UFC champion Henry Cejudo.
You had no shot.
You didn't know which neighborhood you crashed into.
Yep. You had no shot, buddy. If only poor Nene could have had Cejudo with him when he had his hit and run.
Yeah, that's right. That would have been helpful. But, you know, if this happened in our neighborhood, do you think, what are the odds that we chase down a guy? Like if he's on foot, if he's running full speed and he wants to get away, unless he's so drunk that he can't run a straight line, like he's got a chance of escaping for a little while.
Yeah.
This guy made it nowhere fast.
No, this guy had no shot. And I will say, yeah, like I definitely wouldn't be chasing anybody down. But also, I don't think you really need to because this guy left the car behind.
Yeah.
He's not going to get away with it.
Unless it was stolen.
Good point.
Yeah, but yeah, then he'd just steal another one probably.
Right.
And once he got far enough away.
The truth will find him eventually.
Yeah, so it's just a reminder of the gap. Like Henry Cejudo, you crash into his neighborhood and it's just over. It's
you didn't
over.
even crash into his house and he got you.
Yeah. This is the chance you take when you act a fool.
He took you in his gold pajamas.
I know. I'm so upset there's not video of this.
There actually is an interview with his gold silk pajamas on.
But I want to see him body slamming the guy in gold
I don't know if anyone filmed that.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the RadioU Podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the show.